Age of Mythology Retold has been out a while now, and I've been playing non-stop on console. Now, I have been playing on the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X as well. I thought it'd be a really good idea to put together a tips video. Now, this is going to be console-based, but most of the tips can be used online as well. Now, later on, we can do like a video for particular guides for particular characters. This is more of a generalized tips video, things that I think are really handy to know. And some of these, I'm embarrassed to say, took me hours and hours and hours within a game before I ever even realized. So hopefully some of these help you out. If they do, don't forget to let us know down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and add your own tips as well. That way the community can grow with us. And yes, before we get stuck in, I do have an active and growing Discord. It'd be fantastic to get more of the community together so we can play some multiplayer games. You can find the link for that down in the description. Tip number one is a tip for beginners. Playing on moderate or standard in skirmish mode is a great way to learn how to play the game, a great way to learn how to play as each individual god. Now, on moderate and standard, the AI will not age up without you first triggering that. As soon as you age up, they will age up with you. What this means is you can get a real feel for the game on how it plays and certain mechanics at ease. Now, I've got to warn you, once you go to hard and beyond, the AI seem to have unlimited resources, so do it when you are ready. Tip number two is, did you know that you can delete any building, any wall, or kill any unit simply by holding LB and RB together for a period of time? This is something I did not know you could do, and I found it really useful. Tip number three is, you can place a town center. Not only where it tells you you can place it, but you can actually place a village center anywhere on the map. This is amazing for being able to produce more villages early in the game, something I would recommend you do. Honestly, I'm embarrassed how long it took me to learn how to do this. Now, it doesn't increase your population limit, but it does allow you to do everything else a town center can do. Really useful. Tip number four is about troop selection. Now, you can individually move or select a troop. You can also hold down A to select a bunch of troops. But did you know that if you double click on any unit, it will highlight all the units in that single area of that particular troop type? Tip number five is, did you know if you click and hit Y on a town center, you can spam your villagers? More importantly, if you hold that button, you can change it to a bell. Now, if you do hit that bell, it will cause all your villagers to go inside the nearest safe building. Hit it again and they will retreat. This will come back out. This is really useful if you're under attack and you don't want your villagers to be killed. Tip number six is use your marketplace. Now, I can't tell you how long I've played this game without using a marketplace, but once you have a marketplace, it's so useful to buy and sell all resources. Now, typically I run out of one resource and have far too much of another resource. This is a fantastic way of getting that resource easily. Tip number seven is pick your god wisely. Now, although there isn't a great deal of difference in how they all play, they do all play differently. They all have different strengths. Now, play to the god's strengths is going to be my biggest tip, because if you do that, you're going to find your game a little bit easier, especially on those harder difficulties. Tip number 8 is all about these console buttons. Now, we've gone over selecting troops and, selecting different types of troops, but did you know you can select every single military unit you've got just by holding left on the D-pad? Likewise with your villagers, all the villagers that aren't actually doing anything, that is, if you hold up on the D-pad, you will select all of those as well. equally with your heroes, and you'll be able to access all of your landmarks or cycle through them. The D-pad's actually a really great way of looking through what you actually have. Tip number 9 is you should always be producing villagers, civilians, whatever it is your race produces. You need laborers as many and as quick as possible in the game. The more villagers you have, the more resources you're able to collect quickly. Now, depending on which race you're playing, you can either have a maximum of 50 or 100. I would get to that stage as quickly as possible. And so a really good idea is to pop down another village center as soon as you're able to. Tip number 10, we all get into farming eventually. My tip to you is don't farm too early. Farming is actually the slowest way to get food, to get the food resource. Hunting is by far the greater way. Now, when it comes to things, your livestock like cattle, right at the beginning of the game, you typically get given a little bit of livestock. If you wait, they will plump up, giving you more food. Tip number 11, don't waste resources on unnecessary upgrades, especially at the beginning. Now, all upgrades do have their uses eventually, but don't rush through them just because you get access to them in this age. Tip number 12, always have a hero. Heroes are useful against myth units. Everyone has very powerful myth units, and heroes are a great way to counter those. Now, different races have different amounts of heroes. The Atlanteans have pretty much anyone can be a hero at all. But my advice to you is to always have your heroes ready. Tip number 13, I love defense. I love turtling up. The problem is defense isn't going to win you the game. It doesn't matter how much defense you set, a good army will plow through it. At best, defense will gain time. Tip number 14, not all units are created equal. Now, there are flying units in the game. In my opinion, flying units are some of the most powerful units you can get in the game. Now, some of them are relatively early. You can get them quite early in the tech tier list. Some of them are a unit that you summon in using faith, but all of them are immune against certain infantry attacks. They have to have a ranged attack in order to use them. Therefore, sometimes you're able to kill units that just simply can't attack you back. So invest in flying units as soon as you can. And lastly, tip number 15, not all god powers are created equal either. Some of them are just absolutely devastating. Like the Greeks' ability to use Earthquake, this is a city destroyer. If you're able to get it off, it will absolutely KO any city in the game. So think very carefully about what god it is you pick, because some of them are just much greater, stronger than the others. And guys, that's all I've got for you. If you've got more tips, then let us know down in the comments. It'd be great to have, this list grow. It'd be great for the community to grow as well. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been Chris Ikulis, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy, and as ever guys, happy gaming.